Welcome to week 10, everybody. It's so good to have you all back. Week 10, huge. That's 10 whole weeks doing these Sunday school lessons. And so it's exciting to get this far in. We still got a lot of weeks ahead of us, but thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for listening and answering questions. And I hope that you're enjoying these lessons and learning something from them. Okay, so we have a couple items of business today before we get into our awesome story. You can see in the board behind me, it gives you a clue of what our story is about today. You take a minute to read it and have some fun with it. All right, so Bethlehem Experience. Need to give another reminder for Bethlehem Experience. We're now in the month of December, and Bethlehem Experience is on December 12th. So just a couple more weeks. Make sure you come. It's going to be an exciting event where you'll be able to drive through the church parking lot and see the story throughout the whole Bible of Jesus and see how things were testified and prophesied about him thousands of years before he ever came to this earth. So come to Bethlehem Experience, and don't forget, Christian. Christian is our compassion child that we're donating to, and we're hoping to raise some more money. We've raised about half of the money of what we need to for the full $450 that we want to be able to give to Christian and his family. It blesses him to be able to get an education. It blesses their family to be able to eat and have their basic needs met. Remember, Christian lives in Uganda. So don't forget to bring any extra change you might have or even money that you might have been holding on to. And sometimes it's good to give when it's hard. And this is money that you can give that will go to a good purpose for someone who might need things more than even we need them. In Uganda, a lot of the people there are poor and they live in a much different way than we live here in America. And so they need a lot of help. And if we can bless them in certain ways, to be able to give them food, to be able to give them water, these essential things that people need to stay happy, to stay alive. And so let's see if we can bring the money we need together to bless Christian and his family at the end of this year. Okay, so Christian. Next is our question and answer session. Okay, question and answer segment. Here's the person that we drew last week. I got 2 answers so far this week. I still may get more, and if I do get your name and I didn't mention you here in this lesson, I'll make sure that I mention you next lesson, okay? And we'll draw whatever item you send me on our person. So our 2 questions last week, if you remember, was what was the meal that God commanded his people, the Hebrews, to have while the destroying angel passed through the land of Egypt? And I got 2 answers back, and the correct answer is the Passover. So thank you, big shout out to Cole, and big shout out to Josiah for those 2 answers. For that answer, the Passover. Now our second question was, how does God keep his promise to forgive today? All right, and Josiah answered this one, and Josiah said the answer of the perfect lamb, and he's correct. It's the perfect lamb that we know as Jesus Christ. All right, the perfect lamb is a symbol of Jesus Christ and what he is and who he is. He's the perfect sacrifice. And Josiah, he wanted me to put pants on our person. Pants is a great first thing to put on our person because all of us want pants, right? Everybody needs to wear pants. So I'm going to do his pants the color. Josiah's 2 favorite colors are green and blue. So we're going to give our person a pair of pants that's 2 different colors. So we're going to get a little crazy and silly here. So let's do it. How's that? Pair of pants, green and blue. Okay, it's Cole's turn. Now Cole, he wanted me to do a pirate hat. So let's put on our person a pirate hat. All right, so time for our 2 new questions for this week. So remember last week's lesson, no way to escape. We have Moses, we have the children of Israel, or the Hebrews, up at the Red Sea. The Egyptians are coming from behind them, and God tells Moses to stick out his staff, and he parts the waters. God parts the waters, and the Hebrews walk through, and then when the Egyptians chase after him, God makes the waters fall over the Egyptians, and they all die, and the Hebrews are saved, okay? So, our questions this week are based on last week's lesson. Now, our first question is, when you follow Jesus, who is it that will fight your battles for you? Right? We learned that last lesson. When you follow Jesus, who is it that will fight your battles for you? Okay? Second question is a little harder, and I didn't even talk about this last week, so I want you, especially some of you who are a little older, who might be able to read, or those of you who are younger, ask your parents to help you and go through the Bible and find out. When God parted the Red Sea, he sent a wind to go into the Red Sea and part the waters. But what direction did the wind come from? What direction, meaning, was it from the north? Was it from the east? Was it from the south? Was it from the west? Which direction was it that God sent the wind from? Right? That's the second question. First question, who will fight your battles for you? Second question, a little harder. Go into the Bible and figure this out. From what direction did God send the wind to part the Red Sea? All right? Okay, that's our question for next week. Send me your answers. Don't forget to send me whatever you want me to draw on our person here, and we'll have fun with it. We'll make it silly, whatever you would like to do. And that's done. That's it. That's this week's question and answer segment. Okay, so before we go into this week's story, we just did a little bit of review of what last week's lesson was about, Moses parting the Red Sea. And on our map behind me, we have the Red Sea right here. See it right here? Up here's Egypt. And then the Hebrews came out of Egypt. They went up by the Red Sea. And this is where God parted the waters. And then the Hebrews, they walked through the Red Sea. And they came to the Mount Sinai, which we have on our board here today, and which is part of our lesson, okay? So here's Sinai. Here's the area where our story takes place today. And now it is time to get into our story. It's called A Cow Popped Out. Kind of a silly name for a story, but you'll see why it's called A Cow Popped Out. Here we go. A cow popped out. Moses took God's people to a big mountain. Then Moses climbed up the mountain, and God spoke to Moses for days and days. He gave Moses his law and commandments on stone tablets. One of God's commandments said, "Do not believe in or worship any pretend gods." Moses stayed on the mountain for a long time. He stayed so long that the people worried he would not come back. So Moses' brother Aaron said to the people, "Give me all your gold things, earrings and necklaces and coins." Aaron melted the gold in a fire and shaped it into a baby cow, a golden calf. Then the people had a party. They praised and worshipped the golden calf and said, "This is our God who saved us from Egypt." Oh no, the people didn't love God best. Oh no, the people disobeyed God's law. Moses hurried down the mountain with God's stone tablets. Moses saw the people. He was angry with his brother Aaron. He threw the stone tablets to the ground, and they broke into pieces. Then Moses said to Aaron, "What have you done? Why did you disobey God?" Aaron lied. "The people gave me the gold. I threw it into the fire. Then this calf just popped out." Now Moses was sad. Moses prayed for the people. He said, "God, don't forget about your promises. Please forgive the people's sin." Have you ever been angry with your brother or sister or friend? Instead of being angry when someone sins against us, we can choose to pray for them. We can pray because Jesus prays for us when we sin too. All right, it's a cool story. I love that story, especially how it ends. And that's what our topic of discussion is about. How Moses prayed for the people, even when he was upset, even when he was angry at them, and he became sad because of what they'd done. He prayed for them. And that's what our topic of discussion and question is. Our question, have you ever been angry with your brother or your sister or your friend? Sure, we've all been angry with those who we are closest to, who we love the most. There's been times where we feel wronged by them, and we've all just been angry or we've all been sad. But that's the beauty of this story. How Moses, he stopped and he prayed for the people. And that's exactly what Jesus teaches us to do. He teaches us to pray for our enemies, to pray for those we might not always pray for, especially when we're angry or especially when we're sad. Because what this does, when we stop, when we're angry, and we quiet our hearts, you can quiet your mind, and you can go to God and you can say, God, bless this person. Help me not to be angry at them. I know that you love them just like you love me. Father, please bless them just like you bless me. What this does is that it provides for you, it gives you a chance to submit, to give yourself up to God and say, God, your way is better and bigger than my way. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be sad. But Lord, you can make something that's happened that's wrong, you can make it right. And I trust you, God, to make it right. So when you stop and when you pray for the people who you're angry at, what you're also saying is, God, I trust you. I trust in your way that is better than my way. And so it offers us this opportunity to submit to God, to trust in God more than we trust ourselves. Okay? So ask your parents about that. Ask your parents about how this can be a way to trust God more than you trust yourself. How this is a way to submit to God. Ask them what it means to submit to God. And talk about these things as you work this out in your mind. So, when you're mad, I want to challenge you. Instead of throwing a fit or instead of throwing something at your brother or sister or yelling at them or screaming at them, instead, quiet your heart, quiet your mind. Go to your bedroom, go to a quiet place in prayer, and pray for that person that you're mad at. Pray that God will bless them, and pray that he will fill up your heart with love for that person, just like he loves them. All right? So, that's our lesson for today. Points us back to Jesus. Remember, Jesus is the bigger, the better, the greater one. That we are not better or greater than him, but that we need to trust in him, walk in his ways, and he will bless us in other ways that we could never imagine. All right, we'll see you next week. In fact, next week, week 11, you're going to see a brand new face. I'm excited for you to meet her, and I'm sure some of you already know her. Definitely some of you already know her. And then you'll see me. We'll have another new face the week after that. And then we're going to have a Christmas break. We'll be off for 2 weeks, and so you will not see me again until the new year, 2021, in January. And I cannot wait to see you then. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, and we'll keep this going. Thank you all so much for coming to Sunday school this week. See ya.